at Ballpark Village and the surrounding area are proud to announce that Ballpark Village has been selected as a finalist for the Urban Land Institute's Global Awards for Excellence. This is recognized as one of the industry's most prestigious awards. The Award for Excellence was established in 1979, and they're saying that Ballpark Village is one of the two finalists, along with the Cordish Companies. To talk about it is Blake Cordish, Principal and Vice President of the Cordish Companies. Good morning, Blake. Welcome back to KTRS here in St. Louis.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
So this is a pretty big deal.
It really is a big deal. In the real estate development world, it is the most prestigious award.
Right.
And it's a global award. So until about 10 years ago, it was focused on North America. And about 10 years ago, they opened it up to the entire world. So to be recognized as a finalist on that type of platform of everything that happens around the world,
right,
it's really a tremendous compliment for the St. Louis Cardinals and for the city of St. Louis as a whole.
So explain, because it's for lack of a better word, it's a planned community around an event space that has 81 home days. So explain how it came to be and what you guys are doing and why it breaks the mold and why it's been so successful and why it's been recognized.
Well, there are a couple things that are really groundbreaking. One, it was one of the first projects ever in the world to think about a holistic environment above and beyond the stadium. So it's designed a mixed-use destination of restaurants, entertainment, soon to be residential and office and other uses in conjunction with that complements the stadium.
Right.
So not only so that fans can come down early and then stay late and have a great time, but it's also to create a 365 destination. So it was a new model, one that's worked phenomenally well. We've welcomed over 10 million visitors since our opening, and it's become a model. So one of the nicest compliments is when people come in and try to learn from you.
Right.
And one of the things the Cardinals have seen, people from around the world have come and to study Ballpark Village.
How much of this is unique to St. Louis? Because this has been tried in other places with varying degrees of success. I'll look at Glendale, Arizona, with that new football field and that surrounding area, which is really on life support. And there are other sort of areas like that. Why has it been so successful here and failed other places?
Well, listen, I can't really comment on the other places. I can say the reason for the success here are multifold. One is you have one of the great organizations in all of sports, not just baseball, but all of sports.
Right.
So that same commitment to excellence on the field has been carried forward to their development. And it's basic, if you distill it down, it's to exceed expectations. You're in a great city, in a wonderful location in the city. So we're big believers that the future of downtown St. Louis is incredibly bright. One of the most exciting things about the award itself, it's not just that you do a great job in designing and building and running, but you have to have had a major impact on a community in a positive way. You had to have made a difference in a community. And probably that's the thing that we're most proud of and the Cardinals are most proud of.
I was downtown Saturday night at a wedding, and the game was over, I don't know, 3 or 4 o'clock, and it was 8, 9 o'clock, and there were people still milling around downtown, in and out, and all around Ballpark Village. So all these years later, it's been, 3, 4, 5, 6 years later, it's that newness has wore off, but people are still using it.
You know, it really has it has exceeded our expectations, becoming a year-round destination, and obviously one of the focal points are Cardinal games.
Right.
But it's a destination for all of sports, and you have events like weddings or conventions, or just you're in town, you want to have fun.
Yeah.
So it's been exciting how it's performed.
All right, so where are we now? What's going on with the next phase?
It's a big deal. The next phase will cover 3 city blocks. It will be 5 times the size of the first phase. So it's over a $220 million investment that the Cardinals and the Cordish Companies will be making in downtown. And it's to widen the village, bring the village to the village. What I mean by that is we'll be introducing a new building, the skyline of St. Louis, a 300-unit, 30-story luxury apartment tower. You'll be able to call balls and strikes from a lot of the units themselves. We'll be bringing in the first major Class A office building in almost 30 years in downtown St. Louis, and that's really critical. We have to find a way to attract new companies, to retain our existing businesses. So getting that new great Class A office is important. We'll be adding a lot of retail amenities beyond just the great entertainment. So it's an exciting time.
When are you going to ground break? When is it going to be finished? When can I start hanging my big screen TV on the wall?
That's always the question. We're working extremely hard at it. Our goal is to be underway on the groundbreaking this year. by the end of the year. It'll take a couple years to build, so you have to be a little bit patient.
Sure.
But we're creating, to give you a sense, over 2,500 jobs. And one of the things that I think part of the recognition of the ULI award was making that impact I talked about locally. Is we've worked very hard with the city, the Cardinals have, to make sure the majority of jobs stayed local and have gone to benefit St. Louis residents, and that's going to be a big part of the next initiative.
The next phase, is it going to be, I know I've seen the pictures, but explain to people, is it going to be built on the parking lots now where the old stadium was, down by where the Metrolink is, sort of down there? Where is all this going to be positioned?
Great question. So when we set up the master plan for the development, everyone knows the first phase, and you have the parking lots around it. We created what is, in essence, 7 city blocks today, which is majority of that surface parking. We will be completing all of the blocks along Clark Street. So the 3 additional blocks will be along Clark,
right.
And so it really finishes that Clark experience, which
right.
I think is going to be one of the great sports experiences around.
Right. So then there'll be plans for more phases down the line?
You've got it. You've got it. We will have an additional 3 phases to follow and to build upon our success, we hope. And obviously, we're very focused to make sure each phase is successful. But we're looking ahead, and we're really very confident not only that Ballpark Village will keep performing, but that the city is going to grow with us,
yeah.
and we're very focused on that.
You guys were involved with the Power and Light District in Kansas City, which
yes,
anyone who visits Kansas City sees that. I mean, that is a boom. I mean, it's gigantic. Similarities, differences, different types of problems. What's the difference and what's the similarities between the two?
That's a great question. The similarities are, I think, that they both have played an important role in kind of helping to revitalize the downtown, in creating more positive impressions. Listen, before we opened Ballpark Village, there were some cynics and some doubters. Would people come down when there wasn't a Cardinals game?
Right.
Questions like that. I think we've hopefully helped us dispel some of that. The next phase will be very important as we transform and broaden into a more holistic village. Power and Light played a similar role. Now, very different execution. We're very fortunate as a family and a company. We're across the United States. We're in several dozen cities,
right.
And I think the answers have to come from that community. But the principles of saying we're going to be very important and do it in a first-class way is got to be consistent.
All right, so hopefully by the end of the year, you're going to be groundbreaking for the next phase of Ballpark Village.
I'm going to work right after this. So yes, hopefully.
All right, we'll let you get back to work. I don't want you to blame me. Blake Cordish, Principal and Vice President of the Cordish Companies, here to talk about the next phase of Ballpark Village and the announce that they are the finalists for the Urban Land Institute's Global Awards for Excellence. That's the Cardinals, you guys, and what you have accomplished down in St. Louis. It's been a 20 years, and I guess you're not going to be finished for another 20 years, right? I mean, this is a half a century project, really, when it's all said and done.
Yeah, and literally a couple $1 billion of development. So it's, yes, we got to go back to work.
Go back to work. Blake Cordish, thanks for coming in.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having us.
846.